So the news this morning goes like this. CNN, Tesla's autopilot recall reflects the real world risk of Elon Musk's hyperbolic promises. Or hit this from Reuters, Tesla recalls nearly all vehicles on US roads over lack of autopilot safeguards. And this, NBC News, Tesla issues massive recall involving autopilot feature. And then we have also CBS News, Tesla recall prompted by autopilot crashes. And then we have USA Today, Tesla car recalls 2023. Check the full list of vehicle models recalled this year. And then Tesla, then we have, and then they start talking about the Swedish problem. Okay, those are the news today for Tesla. And what didn't you see in all of that news? You didn't see anything at all about Optimus. You didn't see anything at all about Cybertruck. Yeah, this is the way it goes in the world of Tesla. It's just, the news is just, the news folks have it in for Tesla, and there's reasons for this. They're being pummeled by the press. Zero honest articles about the recall. I've read all of those articles. They're not honest. They barely ever say anything, nothing in the headline, and certainly nothing, and commonly nothing in the article about the fact that these recalls, of course, were over-the-air updates, and that this is an ongoing situation with NHTSA, where Tesla has been providing them tons of information and working with them carefully, and has made multiple changes in the past based on what NHTSA has asked them to do. So we can complain that Elon's gaffes from time to time might cause the market to move negatively for a moment, with the tests intentionally poisoning Tesla in those situations as well. Why would they do this? The question is more likely, why wouldn't they? This is Randy Kirk. We'll talk about a list here in a couple of minutes of all the reasons why the press is doing what they're doing, and it'll make sense to you. It totally makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. Anyway, hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify. I've got Larry Goldberg coming in today in the lunch hour area. We're going to be talking about what exactly did Fed President Powell say yesterday in detail. He's got some very big ideas about what went on there and what it really means. And then later on tonight, we've got Bradford Ferguson coming on to help us look at the good news on Thursday. So you want to hit notify for all those reasons. My video yesterday blew up. It is now passed my Larry Goldberg video. Scott Walter and I did a video about Optimus, and it is just almost at the viral level. Not quite, because I think you have to have like hundreds of thousands of views, but it's in the 30,000s, and I'm happy. Okay, anyway. So also yesterday was another piece of good news yesterday. Oh, here we go. Another piece of good news yesterday is that, you know, the gift of the year, I mean, it's the gift of the year. There's nothing better for under $25. Lots and lots of orders yesterday, a couple of big ones. So it's time to make your move. I'll give you all the details at the end. All right, here are the reasons. I'm going to give you a list of reasons why the press continues to try to destroy Tesla. Number one, X.com is actually a competitor. I think this is the biggest reason of all. I think it's actually a competition now at this point. You want to destroy X, you want to destroy Tesla, you want to destroy Elon in any way you can, because X is taking over the news. All these people will be out of jobs because it'll be people like me that will be reporting the news and not them. Number two, Tesla doesn't advertise, so therefore they get no benefit from Tesla at all with regard to their news, their facility, whatever it is that they are producing, their media. They live off of advertising. If they got no advertising from Tesla, why would they bother to do nice things for them? Number three, they are protecting their current advertising base, which is largely made up of car companies. I was looking at one Reuters article yesterday about how horrible Tesla is with regard to this recall, and how, you know, all these accidents have happened, and how Tesla's, you know, killing people and everything else. And guess what? Sprinkled throughout the article, other EV companies advertising. Shocking, right? Okay, number four, they're friends with these folks at these car companies. They hang out with them. These are their buds. They've been hanging out with them for 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years maybe. And why would they not want to help their buddies? Okay. And why would they want to hurt their buddies by promoting the car company that doesn't advertise? Number 5, they believe their own FUD. Because if you don't, you'll go crazy. You can't be saying something in the headlines and articles and writing these articles day after day and not actually believe it, or you'll go you'll be down at your therapist. So they have to actually believe all this stuff, and they're looking for things that are going to confirm their beliefs. Number 6, all of their buddies in the business, all the rest of the reporters and such that are in the same business, go to the same conferences, go to the same parties, they all believe exactly the same way. And you can't go against this crowd, or you'll be a social outcast. You know how that works, okay? And then there's number 7. Elon has gone to the right, and all of those people, all the people at those parties, and all your buddies and everybody you hang out with is to the left. And you know the most difficult thing you ever do is leave a group. Once you leave the group you've been in, the group that you used to be in, they don't like you, especially. They really want to not be, they're very unhappy with you, and they're not, anyway, you get it. You've been there, right? You've left the group. You've had one set of feelings, or you've been part of one group and you leave, and now that group, they want nothing to do with you. Number 8, just normal envy. Okay, how about number 9? The Biden administration has led the way and made it cool to hate Elon and Tesla. He has waved the banner. He has carried the flag for hating on Tesla, Elon, for all of Elon's companies. Now it's even gone over to SpaceX. It's unbelievable. Well, I think that Tesla should have a PR department and proactively work to shoot this stuff down. But the working press is supposed to be an institution worthy of trust. Yeah, you're all laughing. And I look at articles all day long on a host of subjects, a whole full range of subjects. And the press as a group are absolutely misinforming and misleading the public all day long with horrifically bad reporting on pretty much everything. This is both from the horrifically shallow research that they do. They do no research on these articles. I'm not just talking about Tesla. It's across the board. Plus an intentional desire to do opinion in what is supposed to be factual reporting. I think it would be very hard to prove, but maybe Elon should start actually suing some of these outlets when there are obvious distortions. Well, there can't be a single person in the mainstream press who is unaware that the recall by Tesla is not a physical recall, and that is an ongoing discussion with NHTSA. They have to know that Tesla has the safest cars on the road. They all have access to reporting that shows that Tesla does better, that even Teslas do better on their FSD than they do on their autopilot, and their autopilot is better than when everything is turned off. All of this has been reported before. It's easy to research. It's easy to see. And these guys, if they've been reporting in the same category, they would know all of this, but it doesn't show up not once in any of these articles. There's nothing ever, it never says, well, but of course, Teslas are the safest cars in the world. No, never. Are you kidding? But they can get a great headline, look good to their advertisers and their pals, and then, yeah, I don't know. It's criminal behavior, but what's Tesla to do? A PR department might help, but they would misquote the PR that they would get from the PR department anyway, and they would. All right. Bond yields are in free fall this morning across the board, all day yesterday. And again, this morning, the bonds are just free falling. I know I need to follow my own advice, because now the 2-year is dropping really fast. Who said that the short-term bonds would start to have a rally just about, I don't know, was that about 10 days ago? Yeah. And the yield inversion is shrinking before our eyes to less than 40 basis points now between the 2-year and the 10-year. What does that even mean? I'm not 100% sure, but I think mostly it means that smart money is now flowing into an oversold asset group, meaning the 2 years, the 3 years, the 7 years, and even now it's starting to spill over into the 5-month and the 2-month. Well, not the 2-month yet, actually the 2-month. That's another one that's still not shrinking. Super interesting that one is still going out this way. That's got to be another oversold asset that will eventually be part of the deal. As I mentioned last night, there's a possibility that what is also happening here is the smart money is going into the longest first, because you can hold on to those yields for a longer time. And Larry Goldberg echoed that last Friday night when we were having that discussion, or that was Saturday morning, I think. Anyway, the evidence of a rotation also continues this morning. I don't know who would have said anything about a rotation. Anyway, the rotation the Russell is up big. The Dow is up a higher percentage than the NASDAQ. And I think this rotation will continue. But as mentioned, I think that was yesterday afternoon, I think the rotation is going to be out of cash and into the market, but it will mean that the Magnificent Seven and the NASDAQ just don't continue to outrun the small caps and the S&P and the Dow as it's been doing for so many months. All right, inflation is dead. There's no recession in sight, according to the Fed, and pretty much everybody else now. So after all year of them saying there's a recession coming, and all year I'm saying there's not a recession coming, and all year, oh, we're all worried about inflation, and all year I'm saying inflation is going down, it's continued to go down. And why is that? It's because of productivity. Not one question yesterday for the chairman, not one statement from the chairman yet about the importance of productivity. He has mentioned it in the past, and he has had one question that I can remember about productivity, but the productivity factor is going to be getting bigger, not smaller. It's going to be getting bigger. And of course, the lowering of interest rates is going to help companies. It's going to help the government balance sheet, or not the balance sheet, going to help the government issue. In other words, they'll be paying less in interest, so they are going to have a less of a deficit, which is going to help everything. So these lowering interest rates, there's got to be builders all across the country right now that are going, okay, let's file those permits because next year is going to be a great year for housing. I mean, this is all excellent. Now, I am worried that if Kramer jumps in and also agrees that there's not going to be a recession, and everybody's saying that there's not going to be a recession, what does that mean? Uh-oh. But actually, for right now, there's absolutely no chance. 2024 is going to be a very, very good year, and probably 2025 as well. There is nothing on the horizon that would suggest. Now, please understand, as I say all the time, pay attention. If you care at all, if you're interested in this program, which you apparently are, you're here. If you like what I'm doing, it's the analysis that matters, not the specifics. I can sit here all day long and say every piece of me, every bit of me, every evidence that I've gotten, every connecting of the dots says no recession, probably for 2 years. And all of a sudden tomorrow, a new war starts in who knows where. And that changes everything. Or the Saudis decide to flood the oil market, or the opposite. They decide to take another 2 million barrels off the table, and they really mean it this time. You don't know what's going to happen. There's all kinds of crazy things, and a pandemic. I mean, God forbid. But those things can always make big changes in what's going on. All right, let's take a look at where the markets are right now. We have got, starting with Tesla, we have got Tesla up 2.86%. That is substantially more than the NASDAQ. It is substantially more than anything in the Magnificent Seven. In fact, the Magnificent Seven is Microsoft is down, Meta is down. The rest are up, but nothing even closely resembling Tesla. So what's going on today? Why is Tesla up 2.9%? I would say it's because yesterday, all of the FUD, all of the ridiculousness, all the craziness, people were so involved in everything else, they didn't have time to really dig into these headlines that were just absolutely in their face all day about Tesla. And those headlines is what held back Tesla yesterday. But Tesla is up and going extremely, I think, let's see, before I say that, we could potentially hit 250 today. As people begin to recognize that these interest rates dropping like they are helps Tesla, not only from the standpoint of being a growth stock, so it helps the discount percentage that you have to use in order to assert a certain value for Tesla now compared to its future earnings. And it also helps Tesla from the standpoint is that they should be able to sell more cars with interest rates being down. And the short-term interest rates, like the 2-year, starting to go down this morning, are going to help that even more. So for all those reasons, Tesla's up $7.21 so far this morning. You have got the Dow up 93. You've got the NASDAQ up 106. You've got the S&P 500 up 24. Now, since I was looking earlier, the NASDAQ is now outrunning the Dow, 70.72% up compared to the Dow up 0.25. So what's that? And the S&P up 0.53. Interesting, completely different on all three, but that does not support my rotation theory. And again, my rotation theory is still a theory because it's going to take another 10 days to 2 weeks of seeing the rotation happen pretty significantly before we can really call it as Randy right, okay, or as a rotation, whether Randy's right or not. All right, so yeah, and then we have the Cathie Woods are pretty much all up except for CRISPR, and it's not down much. All the rest of them are up strongly, again, pointing to this thing, which is so weird, where Tesla is still operating. The stock is still operating more like a Cathie Wood stock than it is like a Magnificent Seven. This has been true for years, but for the last 6 months, it wasn't. But all of a sudden, it's starting to look like a Cathie Wood stock again. And some of the Cathie Woods are up. And these are the very highly risky, but big growth stocks that she likes to invest in. But we're talking up 4%, up 3%, up 6%, up 7%, up 7%. I mean, they're up big this morning. And with Tesla, of course, now up only 3%, but the same order. All right, let's take a look at some of these other numbers this morning. We have got, let's take a look at where bonds are going this morning. Crazy business on the bonds. Down another 7.7 basis points. So we're down to 3.956 on the 10-year. That is just wild. The 2-year is down 11 basis points this morning, more than the 10-year. We've got the 3-year down 10. We've got the 5-year down 10. We've got the 7-year down 10. But now we actually have the 2-month down. Let's see, the 2 months is only down 0.006, less than 1 basis point. All right, this is where the craziness is. That becomes the next. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not giving investment advice. If I was a bond player, I'd be playing the 2-month right now. I'd be buying the 2-month hand over fist. But that is not investment advice. But it just follows. It is now the oversold asset. All right, let's go on and take a look at the rest here. We have got oil up a little bit this morning, up $2.44, so back up above 70. But why is that? That's because the dollar is down. Okay, oil is traded in dollars, so when the dollar is down, you're going to see oil respond to that. So this is nothing to do with the fundamentals of the supply and the demand right now. It's 100% to do, well, it's largely to do with the fact that the dollar is down so much. Natural gas is rebounding this morning. All that stuff, all of the commodities, copper is up 3% this morning, silver is up 6%, gold is up 3%, all responding to the dollar being hit this morning based on the bonds being down. And you understand that as the bonds prices go down, then internationally, people are going to be pouring money. That's because people are pouring money into the U.S. bonds. And so that is making the dollar less valuable as that happens. And then the Bitcoin is down 125, 42.6. So it's pretty close to these highs that it has been recently. All right, one last quick look at the Tesla stock. Still about the same, up 3.06 or $7.32. Continuing to show the trend upward. Okay, so if you didn't hit like yet, hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify. Remember, we've got, if I can keep it all straight now, Larry Goldberg around the noon hour. We have got Brad Ferguson helping us celebrate at the end of the day today at Good News Thursday. And you want to go back, here is the card from yesterday on that video that I did with Scott. With regard to Optimus, great video. Scott gets into it, really drills down. Fantastic video. There's the card. And now let's go through it. Okay, you know the drill, but guess what? Every time I do this drill, people order hundreds of these things. Well, hundreds. At least yesterday it was over 20. All right, so what we got is we've got this great box. Okay, what a great gift box. Wherever you're going, party-wise, whether it's your friends and family that you're going to be seeing for Christmas, this is a great stocking stuffer. It's a great one extra just for fun. It's great to, one for each grandchild. I mean, there's so many great ways you can use this. What about those Christmas parties at the office? What about the buyers that you need to take care of? Usually there's a maximum like $25 that you can spend. Perfect. Here it is right here. If you buy 20 of these, you can get them for $20 a piece. And that means you could even fit under the $20 maximum gift. Anyway, the prices, as we know, you got $25 for one, $45 for two, $65 for three, $90 for four, and $105. Is that right? $110 for five. And then if you buy 10, you get them for $21 a piece, or $210. And I just said 20 times 20 is 400. Please add 20 additional dollars, no matter how many you buy, for if you're outside the US zip codes. By the way, you have plenty of time for Christmas. No problem. These will ship like immediately, like within a day or 2 days at the most. These will ship out. So you still have plenty of time for Christmas. And last thing, please tell me whether it's stainless or whether you want the camo version. This is so important, especially this time of year. You don't want to slow down the process at all. Okay, what else have I got for you this morning? Yes, the one last time. We always take that last look at Tesla. It's topped off a little bit now, only $7.06, but no evidence of actually sliding back down. Just a little topping off effect. The Dow is topping off a little, the NASDAQ is topping off a little, and the S&P all are topping off just a little bit. And actually, the Mag 7 are largely down at this point. All but NVIDIA and Apple are up slightly, but the rest are down as Tesla streaks up, making up for yesterday. Anyway, it's been great talking to you.